The rich do it, the poor do it. I do it because I'm used to it. Welcome back to the Tea Lounge where pop culture meets courtroom drama. And today, we got exclusive insight from someone who's actually been in the courtroom, Sunny Hostin from The View, who just shared her thoughts on the Behind the Table podcast.
Having sat in the courtroom for a couple weeks now, this was a really good defense. It was a really good defense. And perhaps the prosecution overcharged, charging racketeering. I've said it before. I was a federal prosecutor doing sex crimes and trafficking. I would not have prosecuted this as a RICO case. In terms of the sex trafficking, the prosecution's last witness is somebody from Homeland Security. And he's basically going through a lot of hotel invoices and trying to prove that Jane, she's testifying under a pseudonym, but one of Diddy's ex-girlfriends was sex trafficked because prostitutes were brought, in and out of state, in and out of the country. But when Jane testified, she said she wanted to participate in many of them. She chose some of the escorts, paid, she willingly took drugs. And so I think, I always say the prosecution defense only needs one witness to have reasonable doubt. The prosecution needs all 12 not to have any reasonable doubt. So I don't see how there isn't one person on that jury that is thinking sex trafficking. I don't see it. Racketeering, I don't see it. Perhaps transporting people, prostitutes for sex, perhaps that's the Mann Act. That's the one that got Governor Spitzer, but he didn't spend the rest of his life in prison. I'm surprised. Yeah. I was, look, it's James Comey's daughter, Maureen, who I know, and she's leading the prosecution. She's doing a great job. But racketeering is really hard to prove. I worked with G. Robert Blakey, who wrote the statute. I was his research assistant. I know how hard that statute is. And the government has been pretty successful in prosecuting criminally some of these sort of, ragtag criminal organizations and fitting it into a RICO enterprise. But the RICO statute is about mob activity. Yeah. I don't see how Bad Boy Enterprises worked as a mob.
So let's break it down. Sunny Hostin sat in that courtroom for weeks. She's a former federal prosecutor who worked on sex trafficking cases, and she straight up says she doesn't see racketeering and she doesn't see sex trafficking.
I told you. What did I tell you? Didn't I tell you? 'Cause I told you. And when did I tell you? A long time ago.
She also said that she wouldn't have even filed this as a RICO case, calling it overcharged. According to Hostin, Jane Doe, Combs' ex-girlfriend, testified that she willingly took drugs, helped pick up escorts, and participated by choice. That seriously complicates that whole sex trafficking narrative. Now, Sunny brought up the Mann Act. And yes, that's the same statute that got Jack Johnson, the boxer, caught up. But she also reminded listeners that someone else who got caught up, Elliot Spitzer, did not serve a life prison sentence for his crimes. So why is Diddy facing racketeering charges? So let's get back to the courtroom. Today, we had a heated debate over the verdict sheet, something I showed you yesterday, a boring sounding form that could shape the whole outcome of this case. Judge Subramanian expressed real concern about how the jury will make sense of the RICO conspiracy count. He told sides point blank, I don't want the jury free writing racketeering acts with no structure that's a recipe for disaster. But defense attorney Alexander Shapiro clapped back, saying, in other RICO conspiracies, courts don't even ask jurors to list racketeering acts. So what's the game here? The prosecution wants structure, check boxes, clarity, and coverage for potential sentencing appeals. The defense wants simplicity, a straight guilty or not guilty decision without listing all the alleged predicate acts. Now, here's where the defense is quietly making power moves. Today, they confirmed they will not be calling any witnesses, okay? No face, no case. No dramatic testimony, no celebrity character witnesses. Instead, they're invoking Rule 29, a motion to acquit Combs before the jury even deliberates. Now, what does that translate to? They're arguing that the government's case is too weak to even reach the jury. And you know what? Seems like Sunny Hostin agrees. Now, we had FBI agent Agent Cerciello, who was still on the stand today. He was walking us through hotel invoices, credit card receipts, and the RICO sex tapes themselves. trying to link Diddy to interstate prostitution and alleged sex trafficking. But here's the twist. Jane, the woman at the center of many of these claims, testified that she took drugs willingly, helped organize the freak-offs, and sometimes chose the escorts herself. So what are we really looking at here? A sex ring or a wild, toxic relationship wrapped in bad choices? Even Cerciello admitted that not every man in the videos could be identified. Now that's a problem for proving intentional enterprise level trafficking under RICO. So let me tell you guys what's coming up. Tuesday, that's tomorrow, Cerciello likely wraps up his testimony. We have the Rule 29 motion getting heard by Judge Subramanian. Stipulations about witnesses' contradictions may be submitted instead of cross-examinations. The defense will rest without calling anyone. The charges will go into conference, and then as early as Thursday, summations begin. And after that, it's in the jury's hands. Do you agree with Sunny? Is this an overcharged case that's collapsing under its own weight? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Hit that subscribe button and meet me at the sidebar, because you already know this ain't just law, it's the culture. This is Lady T reporting from the eye of the storm. Stay tuned for more courtroom chaos only at the T Lounge. Peace.